It must be removed. That is the order on the Ten Commandments memorial outside the Oklahoma Capitol grounds. The Oklahoma Supreme Court yesterday ruled the monument violates the state's constitutional ban on using public property to benefit a religion. But is this just another instance of judicial activism? Joining us right now is State Representative Mike Ritzie, who, along with his family, donated the private funds to erect that monument. He joins us today from Tulsa. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a little delay between here and there. Let me ask you this. Your reaction to the fact that the Supreme Court of Oklahoma said, no, you're going to have to take it down. They didn't cite the U.S. Constitution. They cited your own Oklahoma state constitution, right?
Well, that was the problem that we had. We were very concerned about that because their so-called opinion really didn't cite any of the previous precedent laws that we've had in Oklahoma, and they've never ruled against a display like the Ten Commandments, a passive display like the Ten Commandments before. They only had 3 pages in the ruling, and I'm told by the legal scholars and the Attorney General here in Oklahoma that it was probably not their best work as far as the Supreme Court.
Okay. You say this is just another example of judicial activism. Why?
Well, again, it was purely a political decision more than a precedent, because the Oklahoma Supreme Court basically has ruled since then many times that the Constitution Article 2, and they have stated that the displays such as this are constitutional in Oklahoma. We've had 2 other courts that have looked this, lower courts, and they've ruled it constitutional. The Supreme Court of the U.S. has ruled on this identical to the Texas State Capitol and a display on public property in Utah. So we were taken back a little bit and definitely disappointed by their non-opinion. We thought that really it was kind of shooting from the hip.
Sure. Well, you know, it's curious because in many instances like this, Mike, it is things in state capitals and on public ground are regarded as historical because that's where, that's where our laws and our heritage came from in the beginning when this nation was first founded. How do the people of Oklahoma and your constituents feel about this?
We've had all through the process 7 years since we wrote and passed the law by a supermajority in the legislature and signed by the governor. We've had very large percent polling, anywhere 80% of Oklahoma citizens are in favor of this. They like to know their heritage, and that's one thing. My wife and I homeschooled 3 children. One went into law, one into medicine, one's an Oklahoma Highway Patrolman, and all 3 of them knew their heritage. They understood the backgrounds. They could recite the president's names of the United States and the governors of Oklahoma. We homeschooled them, and we hope that to continue to other youth in Oklahoma and citizens to understand the heritage and the historical significance of the Decalogues or the Ten Commandments. One thing that we've tried to emphasize is don't let your freedom slip by. Don't let your heritage, your history. If you forget your history, then you forget your future.
Absolutely.
And as an Army veteran and having 2 great-grandfathers in the War for Independence, I find it really odd at the eve of the birthday of our founding of our country coming up, this decision coming out. This is kind of a slap in the face for all of those who have fought for freedom.
Absolutely. Well, it's not over. I understand people are going to be fighting to change all this. We'll keep people posted. State Representative Mike Ritzie joining us today from Tulsa. Thank you, sir.